So today I'll talk about the best gaming PCs under $600 that you can actually buy right now. Now, it was really difficult to find decent deals at this price point, mainly because the market is still overpriced. Now, I know that recently it's been better than before, but it's still an overpriced market, and if you can save up some money, I would actually recommend you saving up to at least $800 to get a better experience for gaming. But if you cannot do that, I completely understand, and that's why I made this video about ultra budget PCs under $600 that you can actually buy right now, before giving you these 3 different gaming PCs that I recommend buying for different situations. I want to say that I highly recommend you buying a PC build instead of a Prebuilt PC at this price point, especially if you want to upgrade it down the line. If you want performance right now, then I actually recommend the #1 Prebuilt PC of this video, but if you don't care about performance right now and you will actually upgrade it in the future, I highly recommend you a PC build. Now, you will have this PC build that I recommend you buying down below in the description, as well with every gaming PC that I mentioned on this video under upgrades. So with the first PC, we have the Ibuypower starter PC from Amazon at $600. This one has the i3-10105F for the CPU, and then you get the GT 1030 for the GPU. Now, this is a GPU that I don't actually recommend buying. It's an old GPU and I don't actually recommend it overall, but you're paying $600 and you don't have to expect a great gaming experience out of this GPU. But if you want to play games like Fortnite, Valorant and Minecraft at 60 frames per second on average, 1080p gaming, then the GT 1030 might actually be a decent option. You also get 8 gigs of RAM that I recommend you upgrading with another stick of 8 gigs, and you get 480 gigabytes of SSD. So overall, for 720p and 1080p gaming, lowest settings in competitive games, 60 FPS on average, it's not going to be the worst deal. But once again, I highly recommend you a PC build, and instead of another Prebuilt PC that I'm about to mention, and I'll explain why in a second. But if you don't want to build it by yourself by any means, or you don't have someone to build it for you, then I think this PC is not the worst deal. But remember, don't expect to run games like Red Dead Redemption 2 or GTA 5 on ultra settings. If you want to play GTA 5 on low settings, around 40 to 60 frames per second, it's going to be still a good option. But if you want to play on the highest settings on this type of games, then you should definitely save up some money, and if you can do that, then wait for the #1 option, which is going to be a much better buy than this PC. Now, here's the thing with the next PC, it's not under $600, it's actually $734, but if you want a Prebuilt gaming PC that's upgradable, this is the minimum that you're going to have to pay, where you get the Ryzen 5 5600G, 16 gigs of RAM of DDR4, 128 gigabytes of SSD and 1 terabyte of hard drive with RGB. I think this PC is actually really nice for future upgradability. If you want to put a graphics card like the RX 6600 or maybe a GTX 1660, it's actually going to work perfectly well with the Ryzen 5 5600G, but the thing here is that it's not under $600, and for the price of $734, you can actually buy a gaming PC with much better performance for right now. So if you want something that's upgradable and you cannot buy a PC build, then you will actually have to spend $734 at least to have a gaming PC like this one to upgrade it down the line. And with the last one, and the one that I mostly recommend, is the HP Pavilion Gaming Desktop at $550. It's actually on sale right now. You end up saving $100. So I recommend you trying to buy it as soon as possible if you cannot go above this budget. Here you get the Ryzen 3 5600G for the CPU. This one has integrated graphics, but actually you are not going to use integrated graphics. You're going to use the RX 5500, which is a dedicated graphics card. You also get 2 sticks of 4 gigs, which is better than the other PCs because it's on dual channel, and you also get 256 gigabytes of SSD. Now, before buying this PC, make sure to click on customize and buy and change at least the secondary storage with 1 terabyte of hard drive, because you will actually need more storage than 256 gigabytes of SSD, and the total price will be around $600. Now, if you have a budget above this number, I would actually recommend upgrading the GPU to the 1660 Super, and that way you will get a much better gaming experience at 1080p. Once again, you can expect the highest settings in games like Red Dead Redemption 2, but it's actually going to perform better than the Ibuypower PC that I've mentioned before. So if you want an starter 1080p that is better than the Ibuypower one, then this one is the right choice for you, and it's actually pretty decent for games like GTA 5 5 in medium to low settings if you want to keep the FPS above 60 at all times. I would say this PC compares maybe to a PS4 gaming type of experience, so if you want a console type of experience but you actually get a gaming PC so you can actually do a lot more things than on console, I think this one is the right choice for you. I think it's a pretty good deal for the price. Once again, you cannot expect the best gaming experience. If you want a really good gaming experience, for starters, I would recommend at least $800, but if you can't go to $800, don't worry, because this one is actually going to be pretty decent for 1080p 60 FPS on average. Then I've tried to go to websites like Light Technology. Now I thought I would find better deals because this website is actually for affordable gaming PCs, but the cheapest price for a gaming PC is $868, and I think that is extremely overpriced for the hardware that you're getting. You're getting a GTX 1650, is not the greatest deal. It's like the RX 5500. You're also getting 8 gigs of RAM. I don't even know if it's on dual channel. Then you get 500 gigs of SSD and a Ryzen 5 2600. I don't think it's worth the price. Once again, it's way above $600, so it's not that affordable either. So I don't think it's worth buying any of these PCs because they're overpriced and you're not going to get the performance that you want on a gaming PC that's $868. And lastly, I'm going to talk about the PC build that I've made that I actually recommend you buying instead of these Prebuilt PCs if you can actually build it by yourself or have someone to build it for you. So for the CPU, I went with the Ryzen 5 5600G. I'm not going to put a dedicated graphics, but it's going to be a better option than the GT 1030. So even though you don't get a dedicated graphics card, you're actually going to get a better performance than the Ibuypower that I've mentioned. Then for the motherboard, I went with the MSI A550M Pro Micro ATX motherboard. I think this one is going to be enough for this type of field. Then I went with 16 gigs of RAM, 2x8 of course on dual channel, 3200 MHz Series 16 memory. I think it's a great choice for a gaming PC that's upgradable down the line, and I'll talk about upgradability in a second. Then I put 1TB of SSD, which is what I recommend for gaming. 1TB either of hard drive or SSD. Preferably SSD is going to be faster for those load times, so I think it's a great pick. And then for the power supply, I went with the 750 watts 80 plus cold power supply. Now if you're going to put a graphics card soon, I recommend you putting the RX 6600 XT. It's going at around $500 right now, and the total price for this PC is $583. So if you end up putting the graphics card, it's going to be around $1,083 for a gaming PC that will be capable of actually 1440p 60 frames per second depending on the settings and the game of course, and it's as well going to be capable 1080p high refresh rate. And without the graphics card, it's actually going to be better than the GT 1030. Maybe it's not going to be the greatest experience as of right now, but consider that this PC is upgradable down the line and you're not getting a gaming PC that completely sucks for gaming right now. But remember that if you want gaming right now and you don't care about future upgradability, you wanna get an OEM system like the HP Papillon I've mentioned. If you have any questions, leave it in the comment section. So if you found this video helpful, leave a like and subscribe, but most importantly hit the bell button so you get notified when I upload this type of content, which I do from 3 to 5 times a week. Thank you guys for watching, thank you for the support, and I will see you on the next one.